In today's episode, Igor asks, is it possible to track the download of individual PDFs with Google Analytics? And the answer, of course, is yes. It's absolutely possible. However, one of the things you need to be careful of is that in Google Analytics, you're only given 20 slots for goals, so a total of 20 goals, at least per view. So in order to track the impact of any one PDF, you're going to consume one of those slots. Now, if that's okay, if there's a key PDF that you want to download, then of course you absolutely can do so. However, if you're just trying to get the overall performance of the PDFs on your site, you might want to lump similar ones together, like white paper ones, webinar ones, ebook ones, and so on and so forth. The way you do that is exactly the same way as we discussed in the previous video on how to use Google Tag Manager to track downloads. So you would, instead of having the .pdf extension be tracked broadly, you put in the exact file name. So if I had like ebook2.pdf, if that was your PDF download name, you would put that in the Tag Manager instance as your goal conversion. Send that event over to Google Analytics, and that will get you those downloads. I recommend that you develop, before you start doing these things, develop a consistent naming convention for PDFs, for MP3s, for any kind of file that you're tracking on your website. And the reason for that is that if you have a consistent naming convention, then you can group PDFs together. So if you had white paper, let's say you're a coffee shop, you have like espresso-whitepaper.pdf. You have cappuccino-whitepaper.pdf. By having those naming conventions that allow you to group together types of files, you'll be better able to set up goals that capture all of in a cluster of PDFs or whatever file type. And that in turn allows you to stretch those goal slots further within that one view. You could also create another view in Google Analytics that would, one just for PDFs, one just for MP3s or whatever. However, and that will give you more goal slots. However, in general, that's a bad idea, because the more views you have, the harder it is to see interactions among things. So you would not, for example, be able to see the performance of a particular MP3 on PDF downloads if you kept them in separate views. You would use a roll-up analytics account, one that you create for the purposes of tracking everything across the board, using Tag Manager and just the file extensions to see the bigger possible picture. That said, the naming convention, which requires some planning and strategy ahead of time, is the best blend of the two. If all of your white papers have the same trailing name, and all of your webinars have the same trailing video name, and all of your ebooks have the same trailing file name, then you will be in a really good condition to create those categories of actions that you want someone to take on your website, track them as goals in Google Analytics, and that gets you a good insight into the overall the overall performance of your content. So I'm trying to think. The way to detect specific themes, Google Analytics supports what are called regular expressions, or regexes. And like the file names, if you have a theme, then you could use what's called a regular expression to detect all similarly themed files. So another example, if you have cappuccino-whitepaper.pdf, and you were to expand that into cappuccino-beverage-whitepaper.pdf, and you have espresso-beverage-whitepaper.pdf, but then you had cappuccino-podcast.mp3 or cappuccino-podcast.mp3, then by having I forgot the beverage tag, so cappuccino-beverage-podcast.mp3. By having that dash beverage in the middle, even though you've got one file type that's a PDF and one file type that's an MP3, by having that consistent naming convention, you could use a regular expression to group together all of the beverage-related content, right? So you could group as a goal the PDFs, the MP3s, the MP4s, whatever the case is, you group them together, and you could then slice either horizontally by the file type or the content type, or slice vertically by the topic type using these regular expressions. And that way you can make the most of those goal slots and get a sense of at least the major categories, what's working for you. So there is a lot you can do with Google Tag Manager and Google Analytics. The trick is, as with everything, build the plan, build the process, build the documentation up front and first. And it doesn't have to be complex. You can do it right on a spreadsheet. But by doing that up front, it allows you to name things consistently and be able to do advanced analytics by all these different dimensions that otherwise if you didn't do that, you'd be like, oh, we're out of goal slots already in Google Analytics. How do we fix this? Better to do the planning and pre-work up front. So lots more to do with Tag Manager and Google Analytics. I would suggest you learn regular expressions. If you go to there are a number of really good websites. Probably one of my favorites is regex101.com. Totally free and allows you to test out regular expressions. You paste in a list of matching and non-matching strings, like URLs, for example, and then you test your regular expressions and see which ones light up. And if the ones that you intend to light up do, you've successfully done a regular expression correctly. If, on the other hand, it doesn't work out that way, then you know that you need to tune it up some more. So, great question, Igor. There's a lot to unpack, so give it a try, and let us know what follow-up questions you have. As always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and the newsletter. I'll talk to you soon.
Want help solving your company's data, analytics, and digital marketing problems? Visit trustinsights.ai today and let us know how we can help you.